Welcome to the Blood Moon Archives, home to real-life encounters of things that go bump in the night. These aren't just stories. These are true horrors that will haunt you long after the screen fades to black. So lock your doors, close the curtains, and keep those lights on. Let's get into it. The Silent Clearing by Camping Guy 1980. I've done a lot of hiking in my life. Enough to feel confident in the backcountry, enough to know what's normal and what's not. What we experienced last fall was not normal, and to this day, I still don't have an explanation that makes sense. It was me and my buddy Matt. We've been friends since college, and every year we do at least one big trek, somewhere remote, just the two of us, packs on our backs, away from everything. That year, we picked a route in the Northern Rockies. It wasn't part of any official trail, but Matt had mapped out a loop using some old forestry paths and animal tracks. He'd read about it in a forum, some deep-cut route only a few people had done. We were both in good shape and had done harder treks, so we weren't too concerned. The weather was holding, early fall, crisp but dry. No bugs, no crowds. Just miles of tall trees and silence. Perfect, really. The first day went by without a hitch. We made good time, set up camp near a cold stream, cooked freeze-dried chili on the stove, and crashed early. The second day was when things started to feel different. It wasn't dramatic at first, just a little off. I remember waking up and feeling like the forest was holding its breath. We'd both noticed it, how quiet everything was. No birdsong, no wind in the trees. Even the water in the nearby creek seemed muted, like it was flowing under a layer of glass. We chalked it up to the morning chill and packed up. We were supposed to make a loop, heading up and over a low ridge, through an old burn area, then back into the dense woods where we'd make camp again. We followed Matt's GPS, which had the route marked out. Everything was going smoothly, until we hit the clearing. It wasn't on the map. Just this wide open patch in the trees, maybe 50 feet across. Perfect circle. Nothing but mossy ground and a few rocks here and there. At first, we thought it was just a dried-up pond, or maybe an old logging site. But there were no stumps, no water lines. It looked untouched. That's when I noticed it. The silence. I don't mean the regular kind, like when it's just a quiet day. I mean total silence. Dead silence. No wind, no birds. Not even the buzz of a mosquito in your ear. The kind of silence that makes you aware of your own body, your breathing, your footsteps, your heartbeat. Matt stopped walking and turned to me, eyes wide. I was about to ask if he noticed it too, when he put a finger to his chest. We both stood there, completely still. And in that moment, I swear to you, I heard it too. My own heartbeat, echoing, like it was coming back from the trees. It didn't sound loud exactly, but it was there, faint and rhythmic, like the sound was bouncing off something, just beyond the clearing. I even took a few steps to see if it was in my head, but it stayed the same. Steady, soft thumping, not just felt, but heard. Matt wanted to get moving. He was visibly rattled. I tried to play it cool, but something deep in my gut told me this place wasn't right. We crossed the clearing quickly and re-entered the forest on the other side. That should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. 15 minutes later, we walked into the same clearing again. Same rocks, same patch of moss, same eerie silence. At first, we just thought we were confused. Maybe we looped somehow. The forest can mess with your sense of direction, especially in dense areas. But Matt checked the GPS and frowned. We were following the route perfectly. Straight line. No deviation. According to the map, we should have been a mile past the clearing by now. We tried again. This time, we veered slightly to the east, off the GPS route, figuring maybe it was a glitch. The terrain got steeper, but we pushed through it. Took a solid 25 minutes of climbing, descending, scrambling over fallen trees. And then we walked into the clearing again. Same size, same shape, same god-awful silence. That was the moment I felt my stomach turn. I looked around and realized the rocks were in the exact same spots. I even remembered a patch of moss shaped like a boot print. It was still there. We didn't talk. We just turned and headed out again, due west this time. I took out my compass. I watched the direction the whole time. No zigzags, no confusion. We pushed through thick brush, climbed over boulders, even left small markers with sticks and bits of string as we went. We didn't stop until nearly 40 minutes had passed. Both of us sweating, scratched up, breathing hard. And then we stepped into the clearing. Again. That's when Matt cursed, not loud, just under his breath. He threw a rock into the trees, and it felt weird how far the sound carried, like it didn't belong there. I bent down and touched the ashes from our boot soles, fresh from our earlier steps. This wasn't a different clearing. It was the same one. We sat on one of the rocks, trying to figure out what was happening. The GPS was glitching, jumping between coordinates like it couldn't get a signal. Compass still pointed north, but that didn't mean much out there. I thought maybe we were panicking, making bad decisions because of fear. So I suggested we stay put, just for a bit, eat something, let our heads clear. We hadn't had a real break since morning. We sat there for maybe 10 minutes. I pulled out a protein bar, took a bite. That's when I realized something else. There was no sound from us either. No chewing. No crinkling plastic. Nothing. I could feel my mouth moving, feel the food crunch, but there was no noise. I waved my hand in front of Matt's face and clapped once. Not even an echo. It was like the air itself wasn't carrying sound anymore. We didn't run, but we moved fast after that. We didn't pick a direction, just any direction. Our plan was to bushwhack until we hit something familiar or marked. A stream, a trail, anything. Hours passed, or maybe it was less. It's hard to say. The sun never seemed to move much. We just kept walking. And somehow, unbelievably, we walked into the clearing one more time. I sat down hard and felt this deep, creeping cold settle into my spine. The silence was worse now. It felt alive, like something was listening. Matt looked pale. I remember he kept glancing at the tree line, like he expected to see someone, or something, step out. I don't know what finally did it. Maybe we got lucky. Maybe we picked the one direction that actually led somewhere. But eventually, after what felt like the longest stretch of walking in my life, we broke through the trees and hit a gravel forestry road. We didn't cheer. We didn't talk. We just followed it in the direction the sun was setting, hoping to reach something before night. Eventually, we flagged down a ranger truck. We didn't tell them the whole story, just that we got turned around, kept circling the same area. They said it happens more often than people think. Terrain messes with folks, especially in denser woods. But when I asked if they knew of a clearing like that, perfect circle, always silent, the ranger got quiet, then said, "There are spots out there people don't go anymore. That's all he said. We never finished the loop. Never went back. Sometimes I dream about the clearing. Not in a nightmare way. Just being there again. Feeling that silence pressing in like a weight. And sometimes, in those dreams, I hear something moving in the trees. But it never comes out. And I never want to know what would happen if it did. Well, you've heard the truth. But remember, not every story ends when the video does. Some stories follow you home, into the dark corners of your mind. If you've made it this far, you might just be brave enough to face what's next. If you want to hear more of these terrifying tales, and perhaps awaken something, you shouldn't. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You'll want to know when the next nightmare arrives. But be careful. Once you step into the darkness, it's not always easy to find your way out.